Hi folks, this is ENFJ Model G. So first few things about ENFJ overall. EJ mindset, so extroverted judger. So this is linear assertive in Socionics. So the EJs are the ones that lead with TE and FE. So a powerful extroverted judging function. Also NF, also beta quadra. Now, beta quadra is a different kind of FE from alpha quadra, because in the beta quadra, you have FE with SE. So this has a bit more of a harder edge than when the alpha quadra with the SFJs, where they have FE with SI. And the MBTI sort of definition of FE sort of leans towards FE with SI. This is more, with the FE with the SE, this is more about charisma and raising emotions in other people. Think of the charismatic leaders that sort of can use their followers' emotions. So this block here, so I'm going to do this block by block. This social mission block, this is like the Keirsey role variant. For these two, as you'll notice, these are the ego functions in Socionics and the lead and auxiliary functions in MBTI. Maximum energy, more than is actually necessary, actually can be self-indulged. This is in the externalities row, so this is directed towards society. The NE, this is like basically the ENFJ fish swims in NE and doesn't realize it's wet with NE, because to them, and I'll explain in a moment when I go through the bullet points for NE. In fact, so this is used as a tool for this. So in ESFP, they use extroverted feelings to draw attention upon themselves. So I'll go over that bit in a moment. So optimum energy, just enough. So used as a tool for this and this for the social mission. And so you'll see, right, so FE minus, sensitive to others' emotional state, control over content they convey, and inspirational. So let's see how they might use NE with that to aid in that. So using NE as a tool, encourage new ideas or come up with themselves. Combine sources within a pioneer project, searches and finds new talents within itself. So these new ideas and things, these probably be useful when ENFJ is in the role variant of teacher, mentor, teacher, and so finding new ways to explain things. Next block, social adaptation block. So not got as much energy for this, so minimum and pessimum. So and this is very sensitive, I'll go on about that in a moment. Role function, same mindset as the lead one. So extroverted judging function. And so this can actually switch to this quite easily. Now, because it's FE, this is going to make this particular type pattern more likely to switch to the role function than other types. The FE DOMs will do this. Why? Because they are focused on other people. And if other people want to go into TE mode, say in a work situation, then they will switch to that in order to suit other people in the social context. So this function will get a lot of development. So you get a lot of practice and you'll get better at it, but it's not preferred. You might even get burnout if it's used too much. So when the task at hand doesn't fit these two, so say they're in a work situation where FE and NE are not really much needed, or like, and they can't do the NETE thing, which is like doing ENTP-ish. So in one of these, because this is decreasing energy, then they might be in a work situation where these are not appropriate, and then it goes to this mode. And look at the type that's in here, TESE. That is the social mission block of ESTJ. So, and you'll see that come through in this description of TE. Motivated to achieve specific outcome, but loses motivation after the achievement. Okay, that doesn't sound ESTJ, but this bit is. Enjoys overcoming obstacles, which is after the next bit. Enjoys overcoming obstacles. I think there's a little bit of SE coming in there for the enjoys overcoming obstacles. Next one, this final bullet point here, good manager. ESTJ, the manager. I've done a video with Jeff on ESTJ. If you search for, just use the search book on my channel for ESTJ, I think there's a pretty good video where we show the difference between an ESTJ's preference and their behavior. So for example, Lieutenant Algiadello knows from experience to give his young detectives their head, but when they sort of get stuck, then he goes to the by the book methods, so to his natural preference. So SE plus. Now this is the key to the type. They have very low energy for this extroverted sensing stuff, but it is very, very sensitive. So you will see here, oh yeah, I forgot to mention something about this type. This is an in-charge type. So in Keirsey terms, this is the diplomatic initiator. So this is the in-charge interaction style among the NFs. And their in-charge interaction style will come into play in a moment when this function is hit. So what we got here, can't stand coercion and rough treatment, both of itself and its allies. Right, so when it's standing up to oppression, then it's going to start getting directive and in charge. Takes action to protest against any violence and oppression. Vengeance and righting wrongs propel its social activity. This is SE+, this is power sensing of resistance rather than subordination. The SDP is about subordination, a little bit cliched, but there you go. And ESFP is about resistance. And this has the same kind of extroverted sensing as ESFP. In fact, when it's stimulated in a beneficiary shift, it goes SE to FE, which is the social mission block of the ESFP. Now, oh yes, and this is very similar. This is very similar to the character of Rog Blake in Blake 7. You type in Blake 7 in the search blocks, you'll find 65 reviews of it. Avon, INTJ, said to NeTx, said to Blake, well, he said about Blake, Blake is an idealist. He cannot afford to think. Right, self-affirmation block. This comes into play when the type is on its territory. So that will become clear. So maximum energy and optimum energy. This will become clear when I read through these bullet points about what that means. So anticipates trouble and prepares. So that's going to be like an INTJ. And it's also like the Keirsey INTJ, which is contingency planning, looking where things can go wrong. Okay, so if A happens, what do we do? And if B happens and C happens, if all these things that go wrong, planning for those eventualities. Warns others of impending danger. Withdraws to reflect on meaning of life and past and future. So you can see the NI coming into play there. Now with TI+, this is the social mission block of NITX, social mission block of INTJ, powerful unconscious TI in INTJ. Present them with an argument and they will find the logical inconsistency in it, INTJ. They're good at finding and destroying people's arguments if they're slightly faulty. Unsure of logical validity of its arguments. However, frequently logic or maths attracts it. Ability to compose elegant and conclusive statements makes it successful in speculation and debate. And then you've got the FE working with the TI there. Expressiveness and logical consistency. So now we're on the inflation. So this is strong on its territory, very narrow set of circumstances. These have wide scope of views. These have narrow scope of views. So you can see how these functions here, it's pretty much dependent when this type is introverted and the NI comes into play. Also probably a bit with the FE in when it's mentoring somebody or a group of people, it can see how they should change. And that's the problem right there. From my point of view, the should change. So the directing people. This, along with INFJ, so NIFX and FENX are the only directive feeling types. And that's because of the NI and the SE. Well, really it's because of the NI, because it sees how people should develop in their opinion. It's a mentor. So Keirsey calls this mentor educator or teacher. It calls INFJ mentor counselor. So counseling someone one-on-one. So Sana has said that she can see, as an IFX resembler, She can see how somebody needs to develop and knows when to push them in that direction and how much to push. Right, SI minor. So they're doing all this stuff. Achievement, ambitious for others, and ambitious through themselves, through others, leading the movement, because, you know, it brings perks. And whilst they're focused on this SI, NI thing, they, just like ENTJ, because they're also breaking this position, may forget to eat and rest due to promising work projects. It's because they're so excited about it, about the possibilities. They're not really present in their body, not got the internal body sensor. Can become hypochondriacal. Aims to project a specific, well-thought-out image. Right, so if you think about 2-wing 3, ENFJ, so that's that 3-wing, the theme. They always want to predict the Enneagram Type 3. Or if you think of an E3 fix, FI plus in the control position. So that's the weakest function, the break, and it gets a bit of a build-up because of these other functions. Control position, like the SE, has a lot of information, but not much energy for it. So, ENFJ. Now, I'm going to say what's in this box, which is sort of a summary of Dr. G's profile. I have the full one done on. The full one has been done in the coconut shell video. Yes. Monitors relationships closely in its circle, because this is ethics of relations. This is, and it does that through the subjective sense of rapport, bonding, recognition. But with this type, it's going more off the emotions that are being given off from the other person rather than its own subjective feelings about the other person. So this, you know, takes precedence over this. It's not so much, it's ignored on an action level, but not on an informational level. This just overrides the FE. Possessive. Well, that's what it's written. While making strong statements about right and wrong, will not necessarily practice what he preaches, or it preaches. Right, so, yeah, because you've got the mission. You've got the project, you've got the movement, and sometimes some things have to be done which are politically expedient in order to achieve the goal that they seek. Achieve the goal, NFJ, beta quadra. So sometimes these ethics associated with FI get pushed into the background. So I think that is about it. This is also called ignoring function in modulators. I think that is about it, and hopefully this has been quick enough for people. And if you want the longer one, I will link it at the end, in the end screen, and I will link it below.